Good morning, everybody. Welcome to, once again, Arnie's Fantasy World of Sports. It's Monday morning, and I have been working like crazy this morning. Not on, I can tell you, fantasy sports, but real job stuff. So I've got a lot of information, actually. I just don't have a lot of time today. So we'll get started on this. What I want to talk about with you today are the rosters were submitted as they should have been over the weekend, and now we know the players who are not only on the 30-man but also the 60-man player pool. And so I thought what would be a good idea this morning is to sort of go through those rosters, and let's take a look at some of the top prospects that each team has designated to be either on their taxi squad, if you want to call it. I was thinking about nicknames for the JV team is what it kind of is, right? You've got them in waiting. You got the Boston Red Sox, and they could be the Boston Red Shirts or something like that. I don't know. You have to come up with some kind of catchy name. But here we go. Let's start with the Blue Jays, the Blue JVs, if you will. And I want to look at the top prospects in their organization who are going to be eligible in 2020 to play in Major League Baseball. So you've got Nate Pearson, a right-handed pitcher, their number one prospect. Jordan Groshans, a shortstop. Simon Woods Richardson, a right-handed pitcher. Alek Manoah, a right-handed pitcher. Alejandro Kirk, a catcher. Anthony Kay, a left-handed pitcher. Patrick Murphy, a right-handed pitcher. Yeah, this is a long list. You're right. Reese McGuire, a catcher. Anthony Alford, an outfielder. Santiago Espinal, a shortstop. Kevin Smith, and shortstop third baseman. Thomas Hatch, a right-handed pitcher. Julian Merriweather, a right-handed pitcher. Riley Adams, a catcher. And Yenis Diaz, a right-handed pitcher. So I'm just looking there real quick, doing a quick count, and I'm coming up with about 15 of their 60 players are going to be, prospects. Wow, so about a fourth of their team. And, of course, Toronto, interesting team, don't you think? I mean, remember last year they brought up the sons of the major leaguers, the Biggio, the Bichette, and, of course, the Guerrero Jr. And now with Luke Pearson, he's the name that really just, wow. I think he's there. But another pitcher, Alek Manoah, who throws this harder than Nate Pearson. And so the Blue Jays have some real pieces here. And the question for not only the Blue Jays, but for every team is, do you dip into the well this year for some of these guys? And with a 60-game schedule, I mean, is it not one of those all-hands-on-deck situations? If the Blue Jays are contending 3 weeks in, let's just say that happened, we're only talking about a 9-week schedule. So 3 weeks in is a third of the season. Yeah. So would the Blue Jays be tempted to bring up some of these players? Could you see a Kay or a McGuire or an Alford or a Diaz even crack the opening day roster? Possibility. I don't know that we'll see Nate Pearson at the beginning of the year. I really don't know that. But I know what I saw. Look, it was a spring training game this year. Pearson started the game for the Jays against the Yankees, struck out the side. I mean, and he's pitching. I know it's spring training, I got it. But he's pitching against top-flight regular starters for the New York Yankees. Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3. Go sit down. I've struck you all out. The Orioles. And I see that Mr. Youngblood is with us this morning. Good morning, Jack. And the Orioles only invited 3 players off of their minor league team. The interesting thing about the Orioles, so far they've only submitted 44 names. And the thinking here is, the logic has got to be this. With the decrease in salaries, teams may release players. And the Orioles, by not having so many on their roster now, would be in a position to claim some players. Austin Hayes, their number 5 prospect. Hunter Harvey, who has been spoken in circles about possibly being the closer this year in Baltimore. And Dylan Tate, a right-handed pitcher. Last year, look, Hayes was awesome. He came up in September. He hit .309. He had 4 homers over 21 games, stole a few bases. Harvey pitched in 7 games last year. Dylan Tate went 21 innings in 16 appearances. So those are 3 names that you'll probably see take some action on the field this year in Baltimore. Let's move down the coast to Tampa, where number 1 in all of baseball prospects, Wander Franco, is on the 60-man roster. That's right, Wander Franco. And then that's followed by Brendan McKay, Vidal Brujan, Shane Baez. He came over in a trade from Pittsburgh. Great pitcher, telling you. Shane McClanahan, Joe Ryan, Josh Lowe, Ronaldo Hernandez, a catcher, Taylor Walls, a shortstop, Kevin Padlo, a corner infielder, Randy Arozarena, an outfield, came over in a trade with St. Louis, Peter Fairbanks, a right-handed pitcher, Lucius Fox, a shortstop, Josh Fleming, a left-handed pitcher, and Esteban Quiroz, a second baseman. That's 15 players of the 60. Now, Tampa has included Wander Franco, and I'm sure a lot of us are clamoring, wondering, will Franco be called up? The fact that Wander Franco is 19 years old and has cracked the big league roster and now has an opportunity to face big league talent in intra-squad games at the Rays remote training site in Port Charlotte. I tell you what it says. First of all, he's ready. There's nothing left to prove. He's ready. Now, will he get the call up this year? I have no idea. But he's in a position to get the call up. And we all believe Tampa is a contender right off the get-go, right? I do know this. It sets the stage for Wander Franco to debut, if not as a 19-year-old this year, to definitely debut as a 20-year-old next year. And oh, the excitement. I would not be surprised, however, if you see a little slump come out of the shortstop there now. It's a short season. Don't be shocked. Tampa pulls the string, calls Wander Franco up. We'll see him this year. Would that not be awesome? Good morning to George. Good morning to Maupau. Good morning to Taco. Good morning to Andrea and Clarona and Jack and Lenny and guest Ava, Cindy, Essie, and guest Shizuko. It's good to see everyone in the chat room. It's good to know you're out there listening to us on podcasts, whether it be Apple, whether it be iHeartRadio. Thank you for joining us this morning. We're going through the prospects who have been called up or will be on the 60-man roster. And I think what we'll do today is we'll try to go through. I'm limited on time this morning. I apologize. But we're going to talk next about the Red Sox. We're going to try to get through most of the American League today. How about that? Bobby Dahlbeck, a corner infielder, their number 3 prospect. C.J. Chatham, a middle infielder. Connor Wong, a catcher. And Jonathan Arias, an infielder. And Dahlbeck is the prize of this group. Okay? He finished last year 30 games at AAA. That's where Chatham also ended in 2018. Now, I saw Chatham play at high A ball in 2018. He's a very good young player. I just don't know how Chatham may fit. But Dahlbeck could. Great power, okay? Great power bat in Dahlbeck. The Red Sox could actually use him this year. We'll see how it goes. The Yankees, Clark Schmidt, a right-handed pitcher, their number 2 overall prospect. Deivi Garcia, a right-handed pitcher, their number 3 overall prospect. Luis Gil, a right-handed pitcher. Estevan Florial, an outfielder. Alexander Vizcaino, a right-handed pitcher. Luis Medina, a right-handed pitcher. Albert Abreu, a right-handed pitcher. You hear a lot of right-handed pitchers here, don't you? Miguel Yajur, a right-handed pitcher. Nick Nelson, a right-handed pitcher. And finally, Michael King. And guess what position he plays? Yeah, he's a right-handed pitcher. That's right. 10 of their prospects. The Yankee farm system has some good pitching talent. The one that stands out to me the most, of course, we've heard about, is Clarke Schmidt. And there is discussion that Schmidt, with the 30-man roster to start the season, Schmidt, depending on how he performs in the shortened summer training session that starts this week, Schmidt could very well be on the Yankee roster come opening day. Now, vast array of pitches. We'll see what he's made of. We'll now move to the American League Central, okay? And I first want to talk about the Cleveland Indians. And they're going to call up some very exciting players. You've heard me talk about on the show a kid by the name of Nolan Jones. That's right, Nolan Jones. He's the kid I told you about last year. I went to see him play at High A early in the year. After a game, he didn't have to. He stops. He talks to kids. He gives them a bat. It was really awesome to watch him do something he didn't have to do. And so many times players hurry off the field and don't take time to talk to fans. And that was not what Nolan Jones did. He's a third baseman. Cleveland's got him on his 60-man roster right now, along with Tyler Freeman, a shortstop, Bo Naylor, a catcher. That's the brother of Josh Naylor, San Diego Padre power hitter extraordinaire. Bo Naylor, the younger brother, is a catcher and the Cleveland Indians' number 3 prospect. George Valera, an outfielder. Daniel Espinosa, a right-handed pitcher. Aaron Bracco, a second baseman. Ethan Hankins, a right-handed pitcher. Tristan McKenzie, a right-handed pitcher who a couple of years ago was probably, if not the top prospect in the organization, one of them. He had an injury. He's coming back from that. He's got a live arm. I like that kid a lot. Logan Allen, a left-handed pitcher. Bobby Bradley at first base. Daniel Johnson, an outfielder. Daniel Johnson played in the National system, has been traded, played in the Cardinals system, was traded. Now he's with Cleveland at Triple-A. Good speed, good bat, potential there for Daniel Johnson to make it to Cleveland this year. Going in line after that, James Karichnek, a right-handed power arm out of the bullpen. Scott Moss, a left-handed pitcher. Yu Chong, an infielder. Sam Hintages, a left-handed pitcher. Gene Carlos Mejia, a right-handed pitcher. And Ernie Clement, a shortstop. 17 players of the 60 minor leaguers. How about that? They have 4 of their top 5 prospects and then 13 more joining them. 5 open roster spots yet to be filled. 8 pitchers listed among the 17 prospects named to the player pool. So a lot of players there for Cleveland. And Cleveland having a team in the Carolina League, I have the opportunity to see a lot of these players. I mentioned Nolan Jones. I mentioned Tyler Freeman. I mentioned Tristan McKenzie. I mentioned Daniel Johnson and Bobby Bradley. I've seen these kids play. Very talented players that Cleveland has on this squad. Kansas City, their number 1 last year, number 2 pick in the draft, but their number 1 prospect, Bobby Witt Jr., a shortstop. Brady Singer, a right-handed pitcher. You're going to like this kid. He's probably forecasting out to be a number 3 starter at the major league level. I saw him pitch in the Carolina League last year. Really good arm. I also saw the number 3 prospect, Daniel Lynch, and the number 4 prospect, Jackson Kowar, and the number 6 prospect, Chris Bubeck. All pitchers. Lynch a lefty, Bubeck a lefty, Kowar a righty. They're also calling up Kyle Isbell, an outfielder. I've seen him play in the Carolina League. Khalil Lee, I've seen him play in the Carolina League, an outfielder. Almost every one of these guys I've seen play in the Carolina League. So let's assume I've seen them, okay? Austin Cox, a left-handed pitcher. Nick Prado, a first baseman. MJ Melendez, a catcher. Sully Matias, an outfielder. Jason Guzman, a shortstop. Daniel Trillo, a left-handed pitcher. Kelvin Gutierrez, a third baseman, Nick Heath, an outfielder, Tyler Zuber, a right-handed pitcher, and John